What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Blue Crew? This is Ball Hawk, fought to another farmer of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody. Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live morning show edition. And you know what? We've got a little bit of news that came out last night. We're going to dive on into it during the main topic of the day, as there is a suggested trade out there between Detroit Lions and the Cincinnati Bengals. This one, I think, hey, somebody's done a little bit of research and maybe has talked to somebody about somebody or whatever, but I like the idea of the trade. I think, versus a month or so ago, when I think we all remember that the Bengals wanted a couple first-round picks, et cetera, for Trey Hendrickson. Nobody even apparently rang their phone on it, and it sounds like things have come down a little bit. The asking price, we all get, the national media has reported that Trey Hendrickson definitely wants out of Cincinnati. We're going to dive into it. Most of us are probably aware that Brad Holmes, I'd say it's questionable at best if he would make this trade, but I don't mind this particular suggested trade. I think it'd be very beneficial to both teams, but we'll get into that during the main topic of the day. Real quick, before we get into the 5 headlines now and all the other stuff in between, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that march to 1,400, 500 subs, and we're just about 10 or so subs away. So if you can help out with that, that would be great. Also, if you enjoy the show, the content, everything we do here on the Lions Talk Live, reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. As you guys know, it helps the channel exponentially. So if you have a half-second time, it doesn't cost a dime. Reach on down and do that. Last, but never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384, a number you do reach out to me. Even if you're not yet ready to purchase, I can help you out with that process. Get you to a preferred lender that can give you a better rate, save you some money, save you some issues. Or maybe you're looking to sell vacant land, commercial building, fallout building, new house, old house, whatever it is, can obviously help you. Been in the business for over 30 some years. So if you need someone who's going to help work on your behest, I'll work hard so you don't have to. Give me a call, shoot me a text. We'll go from there. All right. With all that done, set out of the way, let's get this show a rocking and a rolling and a going and get into the first headline, which is, as you know, 5 headlines now. All right, 5 glorious headlines now. Let's get into it. Lions GM, quote, it just kind of made sense to re-sign own free agents, SI.com, story by Emmett Matakowski. So we all get it. Brad Holmes, during his tenure as the Lions general manager, go ahead and read this story, but I'm sure it's stuff we are all already aware of, just kind of gives more concrete information to it. Lions want to be a franchise, an organization that is loyal to their own. If you remember their prior owner, William Clay Ford, this is something that really resonated with him. He stuck with people, sometimes maybe too long, too much loyalty, I guess you could say, to employees that maybe should have been moved on from in the front office, etc. William Clay Ford was a very loyal individual. Brad Holmes is loyal to the Lions draft picks, or you could say free agents that come in on a prove-it deal, prove that they're a part of what we're trying to do here, and then he rewards them. You see how this has provided a lot of stability to the organization. You've been able to grow and maintain your own players, keep some stability, and really you could argue this is the best 4 to 5 year run of the Detroit Lions organization since the 1950s. You did have some runs in the 90s, but one year you have a big spike up, the next one a spike down. We'll debate that on another show. But this article does go through a lot of those layers, and it does talk about, if you want to hear or read, I guess you'd say, the interviews and the quotes from Brad Holmes. Go ahead and check it out. It is his 5th year. He's got a pretty good feel for things, and probably this far in, we all know this is the Brad Holmes way. We're going to draft you. We're going to trust our scouts. It doesn't matter if you're the first-round pick or the 29th round pick. We're going to invest time and efforts and resources into growing you and making sure you are the prototypical Detroit Lion. I don't think that's going to change during Holmes' tenure, especially since he's more than likely going to be here until the day he retires, unless there's some sort of unforeseen circumstance. This article really does a great job of giving a lot of detailed information. A lot of good questions are asked to Holmes. They do bring up the question about, are you going to re-sign Kirby Joseph? He doesn't give an exact answer, just says, hey, we want to take care of our own. He's definitely someone we're working on re-signing. I know there's been some thoughts in the last week or two. The Lions could move on from Kirby Joseph, try to draft a replacement. I know we've talked about it, Duke, and I personally don't see them doing it. I think Kirby Joseph is going to be here, but they do dive into what they're going to try to do with Aiden Hutchinson, what could potentially happen in the first round or the NFL draft in a couple weeks. So there's a lot of good information on multiple subjects here. I think we all do get it, though. Brad Holmes is going to take care of anybody the Lions draft who proves themselves worthy of being here, and that's probably going to not change anytime soon. All right. Lions predicted select 69 touchdown quarterback on day 3 to compete with Hendon Hooker. Sporting news on this one. This has been talked about a little bit during the offseason. Could the Lions move on from Hendon Hooker? There have been some reports saying that there are going to be a couple teams potentially trading for Hendon Hooker. Who the heck knows if this guy is going to be the backup quarterback in Detroit or if he's going to be a starter somewhere else. Here's what we do know. If the Lions really feel like he's not the guy, they're probably going to draft somebody late in this upcoming draft to be groomed into that possibility. Pro Football Network's Reese Decker predicts the Lions general manager Brad Holmes will take a flyer on Missouri signal caller Bradley Cook in the 7th round. Most of you guys probably know stuff about him. Cook's athleticism perhaps is the best selling point to acquiring him. He did run a 4.5 40-yard dash at the scouting combine in Indianapolis and showed off his dynamic skill set as far as being mobile. The 23-year-old also showed some promise as a passer, but has never been a consistent difference maker in that area. So he is somebody that has the physical stuff that a lot of people are looking for, but does he have enough experience to really dissect teams, tear them apart with his arm, not just his legs? That is something I would say, if you believe he's got the right mental aptitude, if he's got the physical strength, the arm strength, etc., maybe you could take a flyer on him and slowly develop him over the next 2-3 years. Goff, we all know he's not going anywhere anytime soon. He just signed that contract extension, and he's got a no-trade clause in there as well. So unless Goff's going to retire or something, I guess it does bring up the question about what you do with Hendon Hooker, because by the time Hooker's rookie deal expires, Goff's still in play. But I guess you go after someone like Cook here and try to develop him, maybe get him ready, and then when Jared Goff's contract comes up, maybe you have the opportunity, I should say, to go in a different direction. Although, man, that's so many years down the road, I just don't see anything happening. Who knows, though? Maybe we do draft a quarterback. All right, Lions star Aiden Hutchinson looks explosive. Video. Wolverines on SI, story by Jared Johnson. We talked about this yesterday on the show. I didn't want to bring up the video just because, at that point, it wasn't widely over the national media, so I didn't want to run into, as you guys know, YouTube drops the hammer on people left and right, and I just didn't want to run into situations where I would have to pull my video or edit something, and I try to do as little work as possible when making this show for you guys, but you can see the video there. He's getting it out of breaks. He looks pretty fluid. Here, we'll even play it again for you guys. I know some of you guys enjoy watching these. Some of you don't, but I'm sure most of you had already seen it, but he's looking pretty good there. And I know we talked about it a few weeks ago. In my anticipation and from multiple different reports, it does look like Hutchinson is anticipated to be at 100% when training camp opens. Whatever it is, 3 months away, 4 months away, whatever it is. But I do think Hutchinson is going to be as close to 100% as really anybody in the NFL is going to be, especially if they're a veteran. It's all good news for Aiden Hutchinson, and I do believe we're going to get a pretty good season out of him. We'll see if the Lions do extend him, though, this offseason or if they wait till next year. All right, skyrocketing price. Speaking of extensions, hey, see how we segued there? Skyrocketing price. A pass rush won't keep Detroit Lions from Aiden Hutchinson contract. Dave Burkett, Detroit Free Press. And I think this is a big no-brainer here. Hey, players are going to get paid. The scale's only going to go one way. Everybody's price, if you're worth something, is going to go up. And yes, the salary cap probably is going to continue to go up for the foreseeable future. Aiden Hutchinson, whatever his contract ultimately ends up being, the Detroit Lions are going to give it to him. He is a generational defensive end. I'm pretty sure just about everybody watching would agree with that. Unless we see something this year where we start getting a raised eyebrow, I do think Aiden Hutchinson's going to get extended. He is the most Bruce Smith looking defensive end that I've ever seen. And I know anybody who's watched this show for any length of time, if you hear me talk about Aiden Hutchinson, the day he was drafted, I said, man, he reminds me so much of Bruce Smith. You look at the upper body, you look at the hips, you look at his moves, a lot of the different stuff. And every year he's in the league, I think he looks more and more like Bruce Smith. Bruce Smith, I always thought, in my opinion, was the most complete defensive end I've ever seen. And that's no disrespect to Lawrence Taylor or Derek Thomas or something, some of the other greats. They were all great, but in different ways. I just thought Bruce Smith, when it came to getting to the quarterback and stuff in the run, plus, getting out on screen passes, the guy just didn't seem to really have any weaknesses out there other than Father Time eventually. And I do think that's very true with Aiden Hutchinson. He plays the run very well. He gets after the quarterback. We've seen him pick off passes, drop into coverage. I mean, he just really doesn't appear to have a weakness, and that's also why I think they're going to, whatever the price tag is for Aiden Hutchinson, that dude ain't leaving Detroit. All right, last of the 5 headlines now. Open thread. Who will be the Detroit Lions starting guards in week 1? Story by Jeremy Risman of SB Nation. And I brought this one up because I think it's a fair question. I think we all, for the most part, concur that, at least right now, the belief out there, I'm going to guess if you guys in the comment section want to let me know, but at this point, most of us would anticipate it's probably going to be Christian Mahogany and Graham Glasgow. But in this report, it does break down something we've been talking about, I feel like, more and more as of late. The fact that Giovanni Manu could potentially slide into the starting spot. You want to check out the story, you get bored today, whatever it is, go ahead and bring it up. But I do think there is a growing possibility that goes into place. This training camp could be huge for Giovanni. If he goes out there and he looks as good as he did at the end of last year's training camp, but obviously improved, I think it brings up a big question for the Detroit Lions. It's nothing against Graham Glasgow. It's just, as we just talked about with Bruce Smith, Father Time's undefeated. I don't care who you are, if it's 15 or 40. The game ends for every player at some point because of just the wear and tear. We age, etc. Giovanni, there were reports about a week ago that said, man, he's really looking good. And we get the workout videos. That's great. But if he's really developed, if Hank Bradley's really done a great job of, helping him grow and mature, become a guard, if he can get out in space, I mean, this kid is a massive human being, and he is an athletic guy. I mean, the fact that he played power forward, and if you guys get a chance, go watch him play watch the videos of him playing basketball in college. You see how he can slide, how he can move, get up and down the court. And this is a guy who's 6'8" and 350-ish pounds. He may even be a little bit more nowadays. Somehow, and he's equal to or better than Glasgow. That Detroit Lions offensive line just might be scary good with two basically rookies coming in, even though they'll be second-year guys. Then you got Penei Sewell, you got Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker. I mean, Decker's really, at that point, the only kind of grizzled veteran on the team. I mean, Frank Ragnow is getting up there, but he's still under 30. Decker is getting a little bit longer in the tooth, but I think y'all get it. If this I thought was a great breakdown on while the anticipation is it is going to be Glasgow and then Christian Mahogany. Not so fast. Don't write it in the stone, because apparently Giovanni Manu might be closer to being in there than any of us might have anticipated. With that being said, we still have the draft coming up. There are a lot of people, pundits, whatever you want to say, experts, that are saying the Lions could select a starting guard in either the first or second rounds. I guess we'll have to see when that one shakes out in time. All right, with all the 5 headlines done out of the way, let's go ahead and get over to the main topic of the day. What would it cost, in your opinion, for the Lions to let me rephrase that. What would be an acceptable cost for the Lions to go out and get Trey Hendrickson? I know most of us probably think that there's about a 0% chance this goes down, just because if you acquire him, even if you work out the trade numbers, you still got to pay the guy. I mean, he's holding out with the Bengals, but we also know that he wants out of the Bengals. He wants to play on a winner, yada, yada, yada. I feel like we've said the same story with 29 other different guys that are allegedly coming to Detroit. But because of it all, Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox predicts the Lions will trade for Trey Hendrickson, creating the NFL's top pass rushing duo alongside Hutchinson. Knox projects Lions would send the 28th overall selection, so their first round pick, to Cincinnati for Trey Hendrickson. And this is where I think, man, I wouldn't be mad if this goes down. We'll see what you guys think. Let me know when you hear that. Let me know in the comment section, yes for Trey, no for Trey, however you want to word it. But anyways, Detroit would give the 28th overall selection to Cincinnati for Trey Hendrickson. They would get him and then the 49th overall pick. Quote, it's no secret Detroit Lions could use a high-end edge rushing complement opposite Aiden Hutchinson. And then he breaks it all down, the historical backgrounds where other teams have made similar trades, the values, etc. Then he goes on to quote another person with ESPN, kind of had a similar trade go down, although they said it would be basically a third and a sixth round pick Lions would get back, not the number 49th overall selection. But I think if this goes down, this is not a bad deal for Detroit. You'd still keep the same amount of draft picks. You'd even pay a little bit less since you're not getting a first round pick. You get a second round pick. The cost would be down. The only downside is you don't get the fifth year option if the guy ends up working out, which we'd have to believe with the Detroit Lions, their background, their scouting department, whoever you're going to select in the first, second, third, fifth round, whatever, they're going to work out. This team just does a great job with it. But I'm interested to see what you guys would say, Duke Crew. Trey Hendrickson, you put him opposite Aiden Hutchinson. You put him in there with DJ Reed, Lee McNeil when he's healthy, Levi Onwuzurike. I mean, you get it. You start looking at this team, you start going, wow, that defense is pretty polished and can get after people. And the more they can get after people, that front four, probably also understand the back seven, you know what, their jobs get a whole lot easier. And not that it's easy, but it gets easier. So I guess let me know in the comment section, what do you say, Trey Hendrickson? Would you be okay with trading for him? One, would you be okay with, paying him a new contract too? Because if you're going to trade for him, you're going to have to pay him. Otherwise, you're not keeping him. There was also reports that came out yesterday, although I guess I could put them in the 5 headlines now and make it 6 headlines now. But we did kind of chat about it yesterday. There are more and more reports emerging that the Lions are opening or talking to Zadarius Smith's representation about a return. At least at the time I went live this morning, there's no concrete information about it. All I can find is multiple different reports saying that both sides are talking. And I do believe the longer Smith hasn't signed with the team, it probably does open up an interesting conversation about him returning here. Because if somebody else isn't going to overly egregious pay for Zadarius Smith, you know what? He might just come here on a cheaper deal. He already knows the situation. Seems like he likes the front office, the coaching staff, the team, etc. And you add him to the mix with the Detroit Lions defense line, whether they do trade for Trey or draft whoever. I do think the situation for a veteran of his nature does start looking more and more interesting. All right, Duke Crew, you've heard me ramble on long enough. Let's get over to you guys and see what you guys have to say. Let me scroll to the top of the screen. Give me one moment, if you please. And there we go. All right, Bo. Good morning, Duke Crew. At what cost victory? Question mark. Woo! That's the price. That's the quote, or I guess, or question, whatever I'm trying to say. But Bo, what are your thoughts on that potential trade? I don't mind it because I know we've walked through in the offseason 50 gajillion different trade scenarios. My personal opinion, I don't mind giving up a draft pick here, even if it's a high one, to acquire somebody that I know is going to come in and start right away, as long as I get another pick that kind of equalizes it out. I want the same amount of picks on a year-to-year basis, or as close to that as I can get. JDC, morning all. Good to see you as always, my friend. Drake, sounds like Brand has been talking to Smith's agent about resigning him. Any info on that, Coach? Yeah, and I get when you wrote this, it was before I talked about it, but I do think there's a growing opportunity for Zadarius Smith to return. But again, he's probably holding out a little bit, wondering if somebody's going to pay him a little bit more. To be real, he is 32. He's only got 1 or 2 contracts at best left in him. So I understand why he wants to maximize his remaining NFL career. All right, Five Fingers Freddy. Good morning, Dew Crew. There we go. I think this might be one of the more anticipated drafts for the team I've had as a fan. That's probably true because the lines really can go in a gajillion different ways. I know that we just talked about Giovanni Manu potentially being ahead of the curve and replacing Graham Glasgow on the starting lineup. I have no idea if that's going to happen, but if nothing else, it's good that there's going to be a battle, a legitimate battle, it sounds like, in training camp. That's going to get, iron sharpens iron, whatever you want to say. That's going to make both guys better, which obviously makes the team better and the depth for the team better. So if that's true, and if we don't, let's just say we bring Zadarius Smith back, really, Brad Holmes has an open slate. He can draft anything, work any trade up, trade down. I was talking to a bunch of the guys from Lions Nation Unite yesterday. There's like what do you want to call it? A Twitter text group or an text group. Hey, there's some great content creators over there. Go check them out. By the way, everybody does phenomenal work. I couldn't do anything more to support what they're doing over there if I tried. But to the point, we're all debating what's more likely. Do we trade up? Do we trade back? You can see the strengths and weaknesses in all the scenarios. But what I think we came to a conclusion is Brad Holmes really can do whatever he deems is best in this draft to acquire this player, that player, whatever. And I think that's just going to drive the pricing up. If you want to trade with us, you want to trade down with us, up with us, whatever, we're in a real good spot. Probably rambled too much on that one. All right, Clark, dues. All right. Zero chance Brad trades for Trey and pays him when he has a draft pick first mentality. Maybe if the cost is low, he would do it? Question mark? I don't know. Yeah, and it's fair to say you would really have to think that Brad Holmes will only pull the trigger on any trade if he feels like he is clearly getting the best value out there. I know we always use the mantra Dollar General brand, but it's true. He's not going to overpay for anything, so I think you're spot on with that. Big Eddie, great and salutations, Duke Crew. I read an article that stated the cost for Trey Hendrickson is now a second-round selection. That's getting to be more reasonable. Yeah, and that's what, the report I had as well. I think the closer we get to the draft, the price is going to go down if something hasn't gone down, maybe even on draft day. If this thing gets down to like a third-round pick, if it's me, and I know they're not asking me, I'd be all in on it. If you can get 2 to 3 years out of that pick, and it's a third-round pick, think about it this way. At least this is my logic. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. But what's the realistic opportunity that you're going to get a all-pro pass rushing and run stuffing defensive end in the third round? And are you going to get more than 3 to 4 years out of them? If you can get them for a third and you get 3 years out of them, I think, man, you've crushed that draft pick. Now, whether or not the Bengals give them up for a third, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Quentin, greetings, salutations. 3 weeks from now, we are going to know a lot more about this team. Brad ain't listening to any of us. He's going to draft guys most of us don't know. Yeah, there's probably truth about it. There's more and more information out there on every single draft possibility out there as far as, prospect or whatever. So the fan base, we have more and more information. But do any of us really know what Brad's going to do or the scouting departments, their grades? Probably not. It's all best guess Scooby-Dooing. And I like what they've done so far. I've had, 2 mock drafts on the show so far. And as I get another one getting ready, I do acquire more and more information on people I was less knowledgeable about before. All right, Burger Time. Good morning to you too, my friend. Good morning, Dan. Almost draft day. Woo! Go Lions. Hey, you know what? Good to see you, my friend. And just so you guys know, the Sarge, Tony Libretto, and I are going to host our annual pre-draft show at the Stadium Drive Liquor Store in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I think we're going to do it either the night before or 2 nights before. I'll get that firmed up later today, and I'll let you guys know. If you want to come on out, see Richie, Mandy, and Mom at the store, come on out. You can watch it live. It'll be a half-hour show. We'll talk about what the Lions are going to do, any kind of news or information. But, hey, if anything else, it's just a fun chance to hang out. I know Moonscar's come out before, and a couple other ones have come on out. So have some fun. I'll get you the full details either later today, tomorrow, or during the upcoming week. And good to see you, Burgers, by the way. Burger Time, good morning, JDC. Art, my question is, if we can't afford to keep Zadarius Smith, how can we afford to trade for Trey Hendrickson? I don't see this happening. Art, I think that might be the most buoyant question out there. The only thing I can say, Art, is if I'm Brad Holmes, maybe I looked at what Zadarius was doing and said, is the production worth the $12 million. I think we could have kept him, but I think that at the end of the day, that's what Brad, and I'm Scooby-Dooing here, so don't hang me out to dry. I just think they're saying, hey, Zadarius Smith wasn't worth $12 million a year. He's worth $6 million or whatever number they've got for him. Where Trey Hendrickson, if you're going to trade for him and you're going to pay him, whatever, $20 million a year, you have to believe he is worth $20 million a year. So I guess we'll wait and see. But great question there, Art. Great question. Hookadoo. Good morning, Duke Crew. Woo! Chicago can't even beat Detroit in baseball either. Laughing out loud. Go Tigers. Go Lions. Skip the Bears. I think we are skipping the Bears. And, hey, I hope we beat them down twice next year. If we happen to play them 3 times, beat them down 3 times. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. Hey, Coach, a lot of people throwing shade at Jason Pierce Jr. I'm torn on selecting him. What are your thoughts? I like the kid, and I get there are people with different opinions on him. Some like him, some hate him. There seems to be there's a great divide. And James Pierce Jr., I like him. I can only tell you what I know. But I think also one of the problems with him is there is so much information in both directions. I know my brother Tim does not like him. I do like him. I know some of you guys like him. Some of you hate him. I don't know. What I can say is I know I did a video last week before I went on vacation. Did it with the Avery Spirit Detroit podcast. Shout out to him, by the way. I thought he had a very good take on it for one side of the road. My side is opposite. I think if you haven't watched, what was it? Ted Lasso. This reference won't mean anything to you. But for those who have, he is the most Roy Kent person I've seen in a while. Roy Kent in the show, superstar defensive player in soccer, but he is very abrasive. He is, he's very dry. He plays with a lot of heart, a lot of passion, but he is not a people person. He's just, and when I see Pierce Jr., I think he's basically Roy Kent. He's not great on the mic. He's not great in public speaking. He doesn't have a filter. He's going to say it exactly how he thinks. But when I also watch film on him, I think he hustles his butt off. I think he runs through walls. I think he's got a lot of great moves and upside. Now, he still needs some development, in my opinion. But to me, he is the most Roy Kent person out there. And if you guys want, go on YouTube, and I'm sure if you type in Roy Kent, you'll get a bunch of what I'm talking about. JDC, morning, Berg, back at you. Brent, good morning. Dan, the Duke Crew, Lions rule, the Bears drool. Oh, yeah, exclamation point. Good to see you, my friend. Hookadoo, morning, Bergs. Berg time. Good morning, brother Hookadoo. Hope all is well. 100%. Morning, Hookadoo, says Brent. Jess, greetings, salutations. Anyone know what's up with Sam Laporta contract? Question mark. I don't watch the guy, but I did see Rockdown had a video about, quote, Lions get bad, Laporta contract news. What's that about? Nothing that I'm aware of as far as contract, because he's still got 2 years left on his contract, so there wouldn't be any news on it. But maybe there's something I missed. I don't know. If you guys know, let me know in the comment section. Hookadoo, morning, brother Brent. No roar or Lions roar? Lions roar indeed. Lions, yeah. I figured it out. I got you, Hooks. So small. It's called clickbait. Just because there is nothing going on with Sam's contract right now. I watched the video. It was BS. Maybe, and again, if you guys know stuff about it, let me know. I don't know anything about Laporta's contract. Let's see. Brent laughing. Voltron. So what's the current asking cost for Hendrickson? Question mark. I'd love to get him. I just don't ever think that Brad makes a preseason trade like that. You're right. It seems like he makes more conversations with teams during the regular season and before the trade deadline. But again, I think we all agree, if Brad doesn't feel like he's really winning on a transaction, he's not pulling the trigger. Pat, question for the Duke Crew. As it stands right now, what's the pecking order for the NFC North? I'm going Lions, Packers, Bears, Vikings. Yeah, I can see that going down. I think the Bears will be better for sure. The Vikings, if JJ's a quarterback, and I get that still kind of up in the air, but I think most of us are anticipating right now, unless they do something different, bring in a veteran or something, JJ McCarthy is going to be the starting quarterback. I like JJ McCarthy, but he's more or less going to be a rookie. You're going to be able to catch him off guard with things. And because of that, I do think they're going to regress from 14 wins. Now, the question is, how much do they regress? Is it to 9 wins, 8 wins, 12 wins? Wait and see. The Packers, I think they are ascending, so I like your order. How about that? Brent, Lions, Packers, Vikings, Bears. I'll go with that. Dave, Jesselyn, that guy is the most negative YouTuber out there. This guy's always following him. Okay, fair enough. Henry Moore, good morning, Coach Dan and Ducro. What a team. What a podcast. What time to be a Lions fan. Woo! Thank you, as always, for that, Henry. Rats, Pat Rock, good question. I'll go with us, Green Bay, Mini, Chicago. Yeah, I think we can all see there's going to be a pretty good battle in there. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Trade for him. Exclamation point. Our D line would be deadly. Also, I'll say us, Chicago, Green Bay, and then the Vikings. Yeah, if JJ is your typical rookie quarterback, I think they're going to regress noticeably in the win column. And hey, that's part of having an opportunity to develop your future franchise quarterback. Burger time, I'll say Lions, Packers, Bears, Vikings. I'll take that. Man Bear, good morning. Exclamation point. Or should I say easy like Sunday morning? Say them both. I hope you all had a nice weekend. Same to you, my friend. Hey, you still got some hours left on your clock. Trim Reaper, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. Woo! And back at you. Susan, good morning, Duke crew. Trey, I like him, but maybe if we can get him in the second round versus the first, there is so much conflicting information on him. I don't know what to make of him. Yeah. And I think that's with Pierce Jr., that's part of the situation. You hear a lot of teammates of his say, hey, he's, the greatest player ever. Yeah, some of his coaches say that. Then there are rumors that some of his coaches say the opposite, that he's not a good, player or whatever, lazy, whatever. And then my brother Tim sent me something from like a middle school or high school teammate of his, said he was just crazy. I don't know. There's so much one way, so much another way. I know Phil Simms from Pro Football Focus, whatever channel he works for, loves the guy, had a video out there saying, man, I'd take him in a heartbeat, did an interview with him along with Mike Florio, and they both loved him. I mean, they were singing his praises. So there's a big divide on him. I guess we'll wait and see what shakes out. Stephanie, good morning, Trim, Henry, Manbear, and the rest of the regulars. 100%. Good to see everybody. Courtney, good morning, Duke crew. Exclamation point. What Brad got cooking? Question mark. Finding out. We'll find out. And again, the report does not say that the Lions have confirmed they're going after it. It is a suggested trade that a couple different Bengals Wire and a couple other places all said that the suggested trade between the Lions and the Bengals would be this. And the Lions give up the 28th overall pick. They get number 47, I think it is, back in return, along with Trey Hendrickson. I would not be mad about that, but let's see what you guys have to say about that. Okay, back at you, Stephanie. Roar. Oh, yeah. Trim Reaper, howdy. Detroit D. Hey, good to see you, my friend. Got a new photo, it looks like. Greetings, salutations to everyone in the happy Sunday. Back at you. Hopefully it is a phenomenal weekend for you, my friend. Frank the Tank, what up, Duke crew? East Side. Woo! Go Lions. And same to you. Frank, love the player for the Detroit Lions are not trading for a Hendrickson. They can't afford a $35 million edge rusher. Yeah, if that's going to be his annual price, Frank, I think you're spot on, just because I'm not sure, if you pay him $35 and you have to assume Aiden's going to get that, if not more, man, that's a whole lot to put into two players on defense. I mean, not that it couldn't happen. I'm sure Brad can find a way, but you're probably right, Frank, that it gets a little tough. Byron, good morning, Dan Duker. I wouldn't be. Okay, we won't be. Good to see you, Byron, as always, my friend. Coach Rock, good morning. All hope everyone is recovering from our ice storm last Sunday. Yeah, I know a lot of the Duker, or a good portion, how about that, are in the, we'll say Grand Rapids or north. And, hey, I just hope you're all okay. It sounds like, I know Mackinac Bridge is open again, thankfully. It does sound like more and more areas, even some of the remote ones in the UP, are starting to get the power back. Thoughts and prayers to all affected. Marcus, good morning. Dan, the Duke crew, exclamation point. There is no way I see the trade happening unless trade takes a major pay cut. Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm with you on that. I think you'd have to keep him down closer to 20 a year, but I'm pretty sure he's already getting that. Frank Hendrickson, one side of Cincinnati and wants a new contract. Yeah, I'll go with that. Byron, good morning. Dan Duker, I wouldn't be opposed to trading for Trey. I think we all would agree, Byron, having the player here, that'd be a major win for the Lions. It's just, can you afford him? Can you make it happen? We'll see, man. But, hey, I won't mind it. The suggested trade, that price, I think that'd be a pretty good win for the Lions. Michael, happy Sunday, Dan, and back at you. Hopefully you're having a great weekend, let alone a Sunday. Trump's, hello, Foos. Okay, back at you. Robert, greetings, salutations, and to you, Frank Tank. all of you people need to go look at all the other 31 NFL teams sign players. They love the draft. Yes, well, I get it. Draft, you get somebody, you got them under a cheaper contract for years. You kind of grow them, develop them, decide if that's somebody you want to invest a big contract in. So you're probably right on that, Frank. Frank, there's usually a reason why you are a free agent money. All your skills are going down. Go Lions. Yeah, could be. The Trim Reaper, maturity isn't an age, it's a destination. Oh, yeah. Yes, Scott Mitchell's great wisdom and words. Frank, trust me, you've been watching this team since the 80s. This is by far the best organization Detroit Lions have ever had. No doubt about that. Go Lions. Yeah, if you've watched this team for any length of time, I started watching them, I think, with my brother Tim, Kevin, and my dad, late 70s, maybe early 80s, and really picked up steam as we got into the 80s as far as my fandom. And just in my opinion, this is the best we've seen during that time frame. David, happy Sunday evening, Dan. Morning for us here, but could be evening where you're at. So, hey, how about this? Happy Sunday either way. One funky, the cap is already over $290 million in 26 and don't have Hutch, Kirby, or JMO. Oh, and they only have 31 guys against the cap. Can't wait to see what happens next year. Yeah, you're right. There's always ways you can, I guess, Scooby-Doo the salary cap, to your point, One Funky. Whether or not this goes down, I think most of us agree it seems unlikely that Brad would pull the trigger, but I'm not mad about the suggested trade cost or package, at least in this one. Frank Tank, they just need to win a Super Bowl. Hey, you get that done, I think everybody will be pretty okay with whatever the costs were. Vincent E., good morning. Coach Dan and Dooku, back at you. The guy. Why talking about Hooker? It says Hendrickson. Just because the 5 headlines now. We have, before we get to the main topic today, we do have 5 headlines now. 9 drinks, glorious morning, Dooku, and back at you. David, quarterback Cook is sexy. All right, we'll go with him. See, One Funky, the guy, Dan starts with smaller news, then finishes with the main topic. Yeah, 100%. Yep, thanks for that, One Funky. David, Hutch looks so hot running now. He would be in love in Saugatuck. Yes, so loved in Saugatuck. Yes, and Saugatuck, yeah, great place to be, man. Great place to visit. Let's see, Courtney, Goff will have the best year. It could be. I think so. Exclamation point. But what of Jake Fromm? Question mark. Kid showed some promise. He did. We'll see if they keep developing him. I think he's somebody that could be someone of interest if the Lions do move on from Hendon Hooker and trade him away. David. Hi, Courtney. Let's see, Courtney. Howdy, Dave. All right, the guy. Can we talk about Henderson? What are we doing here? We're talking, but we did talk about him. But, maybe not at the point you did. You joined the show. But, yeah, the guy, we do the 5 headlines now, and then we get into the main topic of the day. David, how are you doing? One Pride. Good morning, Dooku. How about Hutch grinding, giving him a bag and crush the draft? Yeah, I like that idea a lot. A whole lot there, One Pride. David, Reggie White was the best. I did like Reggie White. I just, personal preference. I just really love Bruce Smith. Courtney, getting ready to move from to Finland? Hey, that's pretty awesome. What takes you over there? Let us know. JDC, Dre Force Rocks, Eddie Rose, One Funky, Thomas, and LT were linebackers. That is true. Yeah. So you're right. Defensive ends versus linebackers. So good point there. Good point. David, I'm in the Philippines. All right. Well, hopefully you're having a good time there. And yeah, probably evening over there, right? Trump's rats running those that scream the loudest. All right. Fair enough. Courtney, wow, David, that's great. Yeah, it is, man. Hopefully you're having a great time over there. Michael, love Mahogany and Manu as the 2 starting guards. You think about the size of both those guys and the fact they're mobile and athletic. It's a good problem for the Lions to have, ain't it? Let's see. Frank Tank, Aiden Hudson is going to be fine. Don't let other podcasters or other people tell you anything different. Go Lions. Yeah, there's no right or wrong way to be a fan. Just me, myself, and I just trust my eyes. That's just how I'm wired, I guess. I don't really listen to national media or other people. You can hear what they say, take it with a grain of salt, but at the end of the day, I go with what my thoughts are based on my interactions. David, thanks. Yeah, good time over there, my friend. Trumps, are you visiting the red light district? I guess where? I'm not sure what that is. Vern, Coach and crew, good morning to you too, Vern, by the way. Coach, if Brad says, Coach, you make our first pick in the draft, now, who do you choose? Ooh, that's a good question. I guess I'd have to know who is available. If it's me right now, I'm probably taking a defensive end, but it's got to be somebody I think is more athletic than what we currently have. I like some of our defensive ends, but I like him more as rotational guys. I just think we really lack that one guy who can really separate from people, that has more explosion, etc. I get Dan Campbell, or maybe it was Aaron Glenn, really want to have bigger guys to stuff the run, set the edge, force them out wide if I'm running plays, stuff like that, and that has value. It's just me. I think we've got a lot of that. I want somebody who's now different than that. Derek, we're going to be fine on defense. My concern is for the offensive line. We need to have more depth. Yeah, and Derek, I think you're spot on with that. I do think if we don't take it in the first round, we'll probably take it in the second round as far as some developmental guys. Trump, third round pick. I'll go with that 100%. Johnny, looking forward to seeing Manu and Rakestraw in preseason. Also interested in Scoresdale and Martin basically having their audition. Yeah, I think for Scoresdale and Martin, this is it. You got to win a roster spot. You got to be one of the 53. And if they don't win it, you're probably moving on from them. Good call there, Johnny. Vincent E., not sending a first-round pick. Yeah, it could be. Could be not. Rock, yes, for Hendrickson. Me too. 9 drinks. Trade for sure. Trumps, I would do that trade. Me as well. Let's see. Frank, think Johnny V., I hear you. You would be looking forward to seeing those players too. Yeah, I think a lot of us would be. Ron, our first for the big guy and one of their 2 picks back. If there's any way to make the money work, I'd say go for it for sure. Otherwise, trade most of the draft and move up and grab a top edge. Again, going back to the conversations yesterday with Kurt Steele, and some of the other guys in Lions Nation Unite, that was one of the stuff that did come up, if I'm not mistaken, that maybe we package a deal. And I know I was saying move up to like number 15. Most of us would agree you can't keep all these draft picks every year. This year, we've got another 7 or 8 picks. You're probably going to struggle to keep 7 or 8 guys who are drafted. Maybe you can keep 4 or 5. So make that move on up and, yeah, try to get the person you really believe in helping the team. Derek, no on Trey. You still have to pay him. You are correct with that. We couldn't even pay Iffy. Yeah, I do wonder if Iffy was because of his injury history, though, because Iffy's deal with Miami, I don't remember it all the top of my head. I want to say it's like $5 million on a 1-year deal. I mean, that's pretty cost conservative. Brent, Hutch with Trey, the other side would make quarterbacks nervous as heck. I concur. Don't see Brad spending that much, but I'm all for it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, me too. And again, I think it's probably more the contract price that would price, at least is suggested one for this story. Frank Tank, oh, here we go. We're getting Hendrickson and Smith. Okay, could be. Let's see, Marcus, the couch potato GMs are killing me, but I guess we all can visit the land of make-believe and for trade because due to large salary. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. Kim, so it's really a 1-year deal. I can't see giving him a payday with so many Lions to be paid. That would probably be the toughest part, is if you're going to acquire him, especially if you're going to give up the suggested first-round pick. Even though you get a second in return, you still got to pay the guy. Otherwise, he's gone in a year. Trump, it would be nice to trade for him, but we would probably be better off moving up in the draft and getting the best defensive end available. Yeah, and I think most of us would concur on that. Let's see, Courtney. Cash Dow is Z-Man's girlfriend, and she from Detroit? Yes, I do think I heard that somewhere. One Funky, if they don't plan on keeping him long-term and it's a 1-year mercenary deal, sure, but paying him will cost players that are already here. Yeah, maybe some of you guys are right. Maybe it's just a 1-year rental. If that's the case, then I would think we'd probably want more than a second round back in return. Maybe a second rounder and then maybe a 2026 fifth rounders. I don't know, man. Something like that. Mr. Ed, good morning. Dan and crew, back at you. Off the top, Cash Dow is not his girl. All right, fair enough. And I do love that name, Off the Top, by the way. It makes me think of old school wrestling. All right, Henry Moore. I would train if he agrees to a team-friendly deal. Trade if he agrees to a team-friendly deal for the same for Smith. That would increase the depth. It would indeed. William, I honestly don't think we can afford Trey. We'd end up losing someone like Laporta, Branch, Stamo. Yeah, that would be one of the things I think the front office would have to try to have a plan going into the trade if you were to make it happen. Trim Reaper, I seen Broski Bear in the chat, and him, if he was going to accept the offer from Stephanie Water, got no response. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you'll never get a response from him on that. He seems to tap dance around it. Trump's, what offer is that? Laughing out loud. I guess we'll find out. We were talking about Trim Reaper. Stephanie offered to MMA Broski Bear, and Broski turned it down, said he wouldn't fight a woman. I think Broski would be in trouble there. But I don't know Broski, so maybe I'm wrong. Chad, good morning, Coach Dan and the awesome Duke crew. Woo! Watching via Houston, Texas. I'd love to see Z back with us. Loved his energy on the sideline. Let's go. One Pride. Woo! Appreciate you, Chad. And hey, hopefully you're having warmer weather than we've got down there. And Mr. Ed, wow, if they resign Smith and trade for Trey, how do you think that affects the draft, Dan? It probably does change it exponentially. You're probably looking for more developmental guys at that point. I do question, though, Ed, if we would resign Smith and trade for Trey. I don't think you're either one or the other. Maybe I'm wrong with it, but that's my guess. Jason, greetings, salutations, Duke crew. That would be a game changer, pun intended. It would be indeed. Trey Hendrickson, it would be a game changer. Brent, the Trim Reaper, I saw that, laughing out loud. All balls, no D. Good morning, Duke crew. Back at you. William, what's Holmes waiting for? Go get him. 100%. Maybe he just thinks the longer, William, I can only speculating here, the longer the trade or a team doesn't trade for him, the asking price for Trey Hendrickson comes down. Mr. Ed, this draft and trade talk is fun, but the family in Buffalo says Trey is coming there. Everybody's after him, aren't they? All balls, if we will not trade for Trey Hendrickson. That's a pipe dream. Brad Holmes is going to draft and develop and pay their own. I think you are spot on with that. That does seem to be the Brad Holmes way. William, do the trade. All right, fair enough. All balls. I foresee us bringing in Zadarius Smith on a team-friendly contract. Yeah, me too, man. I think that is the more likely scenario. Okay, good morning, my brother. Anthony, nice to see you. Always good to see Anthony in the chat when he can make it. Henry Moore, I am thinking that we need to an end that is effective against a mobile quarterback. That's kind of where I'm thinking too. I think there are about 5 different options in the first round. 1 or 2 of them are going to fall to the Detroit Lions at 28. Who's the best fit? I think the best person to answer that is probably Kelvin Shepard, because the assumption is he's going to do a lot of things that Aaron Glenn did. I don't think he's going to do everything Aaron Glenn did. I do think, I know Kurt Steele talked about it last week on the show. I think there's at least speculation and growing speculation that you're going to see a lot of hybrid defenses out there where you can see more linebackers, maybe 3 or 4 on a given down. And that opens up the conversation that maybe there's more people in play to come to Detroit. And I know some of you are going to say, Pierce Jr., Mike Green, etc., and a gajillion other people. And that's where I think the fun of the draft really comes into play. Because if that's true, if we're not going to be as, I don't want to say stagnant, but as predictable on what our normal tendencies are on defense, then I think that opens up a lot of flexibility for Brad Holmes with the draft. All right, all balls, morning and hookadoo. Brent, all balls, my thoughts also. Vern, trade with options if he get 15 or more sacks. Then he will get paid a bigger contract. I agreed with that, Vern, 100%. Mr. Ed, Brad will re-sign Smith and stay with the draft for another defensive end. Probably true. One Pride, I was all in on trade, but now that the draft is close, I think Holmes gets the player opposite Hutch in the draft, not via trade. Yeah, unless there's a trade up in the draft or down in the draft or whatever it is, a draft trade. Hookadoo, I agree. Smith would be cheaper way to go. Agreed. All balls, Hendrickson wants a long-term deal at about $30 million a year, and that's just not going to happen when you have Hutch to pay, J-Mo, Laporta, Campbell, Joseph. Yeah, I agree with you. I think we all pretty much agree on that aspect. Hendrickson would have to take a pay decrease to come here. William, drafts are no guarantee. Trey is a guarantee as long as he's healthy. You're not wrong there, my friend. There's always the element of chance with a draft pick. Kim Cardinal, tight end, got a big payday. Yes, he did. Off the top, Laporta contract is talked about because of the Trey McBride contract. There you go. He just got paid big contract, changing tight end pay. And that's going to go up, and away. Steve, G saw the way, truth to the life, and Detroit Lions are a great team. I think all of are true. Good call there, Steven. All balls, I've seen a lot of these contracts this year overpaying the players that aren't worth it. Hey, let them do that. It helps us out. Derek, let's keep religion out of it, please. All right, we'll do that. Michael, ultimately, up to Sheila Ford Hamp to pull the trigger on any of these rumors and players joining the Lions. Yeah, 100% true. All balls, look at what you guys did last year thinking the Vikings were going to be the bottom of the totem pole. The Vikings have a good team. They do. And it's just now it comes down to whether or not J.J. McCarthy can replicate what happened last year. I like the guy. I think he's going to be fine. I also think he's going to have some rookie learning opportunities, even though it will be a second year. Paul, I'm currently at Great Wolf Lodge with the family and snuck out in the car to listen to Lions Talk Live. Good morning, peeps. Hey, that's a great place to be, and thanks for being a part of the show, Paul, as always, man. Hopefully you're having a good vacation. Keito, Kirby for Hendrickson? Could be. 9 drinks. Keep Kirby, please. Yeah, I'm all about it, man. All balls, Kirby's not going anywhere. We're going to re-sign Kirby. I think so, too, man. I do. I hear you. You heard from Miles Marker lately? Haven't seen him since the ice storm. Praying for him, all infected. It's hard for me to really remember, but has anybody talked to him? I don't know. It's hard with vacation. Remember everything. When the last time I heard from him. Johnny, guys extended each of the next 2 seasons. Hutch, Branch, Kirby this year. JMO gets 5th-year option next year. JMO, Gibbs, and Jack 5th-year option for Laporta. Yeah, it's coming up where some of these guys, a lot of these guys are going to get paid. All balls, the salary cap is really eventually you have to pay. You can finagle, but eventually you have to pay that money. Yes, you do. Rick Hunt, Trey would be an unexpected acquisition. Yes, it would be. I agreed. Michael, Kirby with an E. Yes, indeed. Okay, I was going to ask if anybody has heard from him also. I'm thinking the ice storm. Yeah, it could be that he's lost power or whatever. Hopefully he's okay. Burger time. Been a Lions fan since 88. This era of Lions football is the best I've seen since the early 90s. Had some really good teams, but not as deep as this roster. Lions roar restored. I agree. And I know we talk about it a lot from time to time, I should say, on the show. To me, the biggest issue with those teams is just the division from the coaching staff and the front office. They were not on the same page. Trim Reaper, are we drafting sexy now? Question mark. Oh, round 1, Lions select Steph. Hey, there you go. I'm sure she'd be okay with that contract. Brett is laughing. Look at it. I know Miles Martin lives up towards the top of the men. Could be true. Michigan Panther Pride. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Glad to have you back, Coach Dan. Good to see you, my friend. I know you're busy with supporting the Panthers. So, hey, don't be afraid to go support Duke Crew, the Michigan Panther Pride. All right, one funky Lions fan. Johnny Laporta doesn't have a 5th-year option. Correct. He was a 2nd-round pick, not a 1st. 9 drinks. Hit that like button. I accidentally forgot. Yeah, if you guys can, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Bill, hey, y'all, Trey and Z, the time is now. I think if that somehow went down where we got them both in and still kept most of our draft picks, Lions fandom would erupt in celebratory celebration. But how do you pay them all? Hey, let the guys handling the books figure that out. Oh, all balls. Everybody's expecting big splashes, and the Lions are so good now. All we have to do is fill in some holes and draft. We don't need big names, depth. All we need is to concern about. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that, Anthony, that really at this point, the roster is pretty stable, pretty sound. Now, can he take some guys on that you see elements there, but maybe they just need to be coached up a little bit more, developed a little bit more? That's where I think they last year, I know they took some flack for taking Giovanni Manu, Simon Vaki, amongst others, but I'm going to trust this coaching staff and the front office. They see something with some of these guys. They know, hey, we can afford to have this guy sit for a year. Kind of old school 70s, 60s, early 80s NFL football. We can have this guy sit, develop him, and get max return out of him. So I think you're spot on with that. Brett, yeah, Hookadoo, I knew he lived pretty far up north. Yeah, it could be that, he's still getting power back. Motown, what up, Lions? Rule, Bears drool, late but rewatching. Hope you enjoy your trip. Yeah, I did enjoy it. It was a good time. Yeah, and just glad to be back, though, man. Glad to see you, Motown. Third time. I agree, Coach. We need mobile edge rusher to help Hutch. Yeah, and again, I think we've got some real good guys that we've drafted that fit a particular role. Now, can you bring in some diversity so now we have, in different situations, we can make adjustments to the D and kind of offset whatever the other team's trying to do. All right, one pride. I'd be shocked if Manu went from a preseason appearance guy and looked raw in those showings, had grown so much to overtake Glasgow start of the season. I could see him overtaking him later in the year. Yeah, maybe that's what it is, one pride. Maybe. All balls. Hendrickson isn't coming on a 1-year deal. Yeah, if he comes on here, if we trade for him and we're just doing it with the intention not to re-sign him, I wouldn't give up a 1st. I wouldn't give up a 2nd, maybe a 3rd, especially if we got something back in return, like a 5th or something. JC Magic 8 Ball says defense wins the big one. I concur. Adam, what do you got? McBride from Cards got a bag. So when Sam is due, he will be expensive more so because of being the 20 pick sooner. Yeah, could be 100%. All balls. That's been his whole Some all along he wants a long-term contract. Yeah, it sounds like he wants to get paid, and I get it, man. He's probably on, if not his last contract, his next to last contract. He wants to take advantage of what time he has left in the league. All balls, he's not getting in Detroit. Let's talk about the draft. Hendrickson will never be in Detroit. Yeah. And probably tomorrow's show, probably need to start diving on the draft a little bit more because, to your point, we're only a couple weeks away. Kurt Steele, the Man of Steel. What up, though, Duke Crew? What's up, Man of Steel? Hopefully a great day. Trump, I would love for Stephanie to arrest me and put me in handcuffs. Probably true with a lot of people. Brett is laughing. Bird time. Good morning, Anthony. Long time, my friend. Hope all is well. There you go. All balls. Good morning, brother. Working 610s. Hey, get that cash. Whatever I'm trying to say. Rondo of North Carolina. Holmes will go best player available in the draft. If they don't get a defensive end, they'll go pull the trigger on Za'Darius. Yeah, it could be true. 100%. I think that's wise thinking there. Derek, have some respect for the ladies in the chat. There you go. Berg time. I hear you. I'm working on it as well. William, Miles Barker doesn't have power. Yeah. Oh, thank you for that, William. Thank you. Michigan Panther Pride. Good. Kurt Steele. Good morning. Kim, Trump, screw up. William, lots of people will be 2 weeks without power. Yeah, and I know some guys have been gone for a while. A buddy of mine lives up in the UP in a very remote area, and I know was it early in this week or something? A couple days ago. Talked to him, and they had gone, whatever it is now, 10 days without power and stuff. And then the bridge was out, so you couldn't go across shopping. Yeah, they were in a tough spot, but he said, yeah, we've got enough food, enough fuel to get us by for another, I think he said 2 weeks. Not 100% sure. All balls, 60 hours, not much time for anything else. No, you're not wrong there, man. Brett, salute, Kurt Steele, rock. It looked like Miles area got hit hard when I looked at the consumers map. They have been out for a week in that area, and some have been told up to 3 weeks until they get power. Yeah, 100% there. Thoughts and prayers to all those being affected. Mr. Ed, it's been fun, but Trey ain't coming here, and Hooker ain't going there. With Brad, it's all about the draft. I think you are right with that. Michigan Man Pride, thanks for that. Coach Dan, anytime, my friend. Always love to support other channels. Hey, that's all part being a community and a family, right? DM5 TV, Brad is too cheap to make the Hendrickson trade. Plus, he wants that top defensive end money. Let's build to the draft. I think that's what we're going to do. Thanks, Coach Dan. Love the channel. Can I get a Sheila? Woo, woo. You want a Sheila Woo? I'll give you a Sheila Woo. 1, 2, and I got to scroll a little bit to find it. Hold on. And there you go. Brent, Rocky, thanks for the update. Michigan Panther giving away a set of tickets on my channel to the Panthers game April 13th at Ford Field. Better go check it out and see if you win those tickets. Johnny V, we can draft the next Z or Trey. It will be tough enough keeping our dogs. You're not wrong there. Michael, sheesh, I must have be old, started following the Lions when Alex Krause played the game from the 58 to 70. Yeah, it happens, man. It happens. Trim Reaper, good morning, Mr. Steele. JDC, Michael, you are a part of the Lions old yeah, you're probably true. Michael, hands up and thumbs up. Brent, JDC, me too. Yes, indeed. Hookadoo, JDC, same for his old fart dust. There you go. To all the club, salute. There you go. All balls, don't be surprised. That's the 28th pick. They go offensive line. No, I won't be surprised with that at all. I think if it's not defensive end, it's probably going to be offensive line. But you know what? We've all been wrong before. Derek, I was slooped, but I have arthritis in my elbow. There you go, Derek. All balls. And pick up an edge rusher in the second. JDC, to some, the only thing older would be dirt. All right. Trump's, grow some skin. Trim Reaver, have a great day, coach and crew. Woo! Back at you, Trim. William, I live in Sheboygan. Outskirts of town are 2 to 3 weeks or more without power. Worst ice storm in 100 years. Yeah, I seen some videos of it. Not just the trees, but the ice falling and stuff. And the fact that the bridge was closed for a day or two, something like that, tells you how bad it was. Almost, and that's not just Brad is cheap. Brad is smart and is able to pay the players that he's drafted. Agreed with that. Agreed. Brent, happy trails! Exclamation point! One pride, world pride. Michigan Panther pride. Smash that like button. I got you. Pierce, good morning! Exclamation point! Get an edge. Don't care how. Need a skipper. Woo! Yes, we do need a skipper. Woo. Ed, happy trails to you and back at you. Hookadoo. Happy trails, Dude Crew. One pride. All right, guys, if there's breaking news later today, I'll get over to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, before you check on out, if you would be so kind, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit all the buttons, be a good human being, do something kind for someone you don't know, and we will see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. You're still here? What are you doing here? It's over. The show's over. Go home.